I went to a small public high school in a rural town, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. Teachers had been there for decades, and the hallways smelled like a mix of cleaning chemicals and old books. It was late May, a few weeks before summer break, when it happened. The weather was warm enough that the windows stayed open, and in the evenings, the sound of crickets carried into the empty classrooms. I was in detention that day. Not for anything wild. I had skipped a class earlier in the week. Our detention was in room 104, at the far end of the oldest wing of the school. That part of the building was built in the 1940s, and most students avoided it when they could. The hallways there were narrow, dimly lit, and always a little cooler than the rest of the school. Mr. Peters, the history teacher, was supervising. He was old, really old, and barely paid attention. He sat at his desk grading papers, while the rest of us worked quietly. Around 5:20 p.m., the power flickered. The fluorescent lights buzzed, dimmed, then came back on. Mr. Peters didn't look up, but I noticed something odd for the brief moment the lights went out. I thought I saw movement in the hallway outside. By 5:30, Mr. Peters let us go early. He mumbled something about needing to get home before dark. I packed my bag and started down the long hallway toward the main entrance. That's when I noticed every classroom door in that wing was open. They were never left open after school. Normally, the janitors locked them immediately. I slowed down, glancing into each room as I passed. The desks were perfectly lined up, except in one room, 107. In there, the desks had been shoved to the sides, leaving an empty space in the middle of the floor. The blinds were drawn tight, even though every other classroom had the windows wide open. Something about it didn't feel right, but I told myself I was just being paranoid. I kept walking until I heard it. A bell, but not the loud, metallic school bell we always heard between classes. This was softer, almost like an old handbell, the kind you'd see in a church. It rang once, paused, and rang again. It was coming from room 107. I froze. The sound stopped. Then, footsteps, slow, deliberate footsteps, crossing the room. My first thought was that a teacher had come back for something. But then I remembered. The door had been wide open when I passed, and I hadn't seen anyone in there. I took one step closer, peering in. That's when I saw her. A girl, standing in the middle of the room. She was facing the wall, her head tilted unnaturally to the side, like she was listening to something. Her hair was long and dark, almost covering her face. I said, hey." She didn't move, didn't even breathe. Then she slowly turned her head toward me. Her face wasn't right. Her skin was pale, almost gray, and her eyes, I swear, they were completely black, no whites, just two dark holes. She lifted the bell in her hand, small, old, tarnished, and rang it once. The sound went straight through me, like a shiver in my bones. And then the room went dark. I stumbled back into the hallway, heart pounding. The lights in the entire wing had gone out. I could still hear the bell ringing, faster now, echoing off the walls. I didn't wait. I ran. My footsteps echoed like gunshots in the empty hall, as I sprinted toward the main building. When I finally reached the front doors, I turned back. The hallway behind me was lit again. Room 107's door was closed. The next day, I asked one of the janitors about it. He gave me a strange look and said, "We don't have a room 107 in that wing. That room's been sealed since the 1970s. Some girl died in there during a fire drill. They say she rang the bell to warn everyone, but no one heard her in time." I went back to check. The door to 107 wasn't just closed. It was covered with a sheet of metal bolted into the frame, and there was no handle.